Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this is Real Estate Spotlight. Joining me today is Tanya Eklund, who is with the Tanya Eklund Group and a realtor with RENX Real Estate Central here in Calgary. Thanks for joining us again today, Tanya.
Thank you, Mario, for having me.
Well, let's talk about November MLS numbers in the residential market. Wow, not to over dramatize things, but this market continues to sizzle. And sales were 2110 in the month, just shy of a monthly record, but up 46.8% from a year ago. Why is that market going so strong in terms of demand still? And it has been for the last, 6 months or so in this market.
Well, that's a great question. I mean, typically we see listings and sales slow down this year. And what's happened is listings have dwindled, but demand has stayed high. And so it's creating this a bit of a frenzy. I think one of the reasons that we're still strong is with talks of the interest rate hike in the new year. And I personally have clients that are locked into a rate currently that expires at the end of January. So I have a couple clients that are very eager to purchase before that rate increases. And we just have very low inventory levels. And I think a part of that is the people who want to sell or list or would list are fearful that they can't find where they're going to go. And they don't want to list until they find something. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, when you look at those listings, I looked at those numbers, and the active listings at the end of November were just shy of 4,000. So they're 3922. That's down 21.9% from a year ago. How low, can you put that in context for me in a market of Calgary's size, of 1.2 million, 3 million people, to have less than 4,000 listings? Is that extremely low?
That's very low. I mean, we're at like a 2-month absorption rate, and that is excessively low. I mean, that is definitely what is creating a seller's market. A more balanced market would likely be in the 7,000 range. So that is really, a very low absorption rate of 2 months.
Can you and that absorption rate, the months of supply, which kind of measures the how long it would take for the inventory to sell, is 1.86 in Calgary. That's down 46.8% from a year ago. So what that lack of inventory, two questions. First of all, could you maybe explain why we've gotten to this situation, beyond what you just mentioned, but how is it that we've kind of sunk down to that level of low inventory?
Well, I think it goes back to probably last summer when many people started working from home and still are working from home. And so the way that we live has drastically evolved in the last 18 months, Mario. We have kids that were at home homeschooling, which most kids are back in school now. We have parents that are both working out of the home. And so people don't want to work on their dining room table anymore. They want more space. They want more yard, because we know this isn't going away, and it's something that we're gonna have to live with. But there's also going to be a hybrid for many companies going back to work, where you might do 3 days at home and 2 days in the office, or vice versa. And so people want a comfortable workspace. And so we're seeing a lot of people take advantage of the low interest rates and moving up in value to get that larger property.
So I'm curious, just from yourself personally, with this low inventory, with this high demand, have you had many situations where you've had multiple offers on property?
Many. As a listing agent, many. And then also my buyer's agents are having a heck of a time finding their buyer's product. I mean, if you're in the sub 750, even sub $1 million in the West End for properties, you have to get in that day and make a decision that day. And so buyers have to be really prepared that they have their financing in order, and they're ready to pull the pin, because if they don't, they're going to lose a property.
So can you give me an example? What would have been, say, this year, an extreme example of multiple offers that you've witnessed?
Yes. I had a condo in the River. So the River is one of the, well, it's the newest high-rise luxury condo in Mission.
Yeah.
And we had it listed for, I'm going to say a month, and it was very slow. And then something happened in the market and it changed, and we got 2 offers and it sold for $100,000 over ask.
Wow. It's pretty crazy, because I've heard these kinds of stories more so in the last few months in Calgary, and we haven't seen that for a long time. Let's talk about prices. The benchmark price is 461,000, up about 9% from a year ago. We've seen a steady rise in prices, right? Is that simply a case of just a supply and demand scenario unfolding?
It is. We call that FOMO, fear of missing out,
Yeah.
Mario. And so people that have missed out multiple times in some cases, they, by the second or third offer, they are committed. So, the first offer, they say, well, we should have a financing condition and we should have a home inspection. So you put that into the offer and they lose it. The next one, they speak to their mortgage broker, and their mortgage broker says, no, you do not need a financing condition, you're good. And so they put in a home inspection and then they lose it. And then by the third time, they are writing an unconditional offer. They do not want to lose it. They're, willing to pay, even in many cases, slightly over the numbers that maybe I, as an agent, would analyze. And that's really what we call a home is worth what a buyer's willing to pay. So I can pull the data and say it's worth $750, but they're willing to pay $775 because they want and need a home.
Yeah. Okay. Two sides of this, Tanya, I'm going to ask you, first of all, what's your best advice right now if you're a seller?
My best advice is to list your home, which I've never given that advice in December in my 21-year career. I looked at the stats, as I'm sure that you did, that came out, and we are total MLS. We are almost nearing the sales that we saw when oil was at $120 a barrel in 2014. We're slightly below. And if you look at the detached home market, we're actually this year have had more sales than we did in 2014. And we have so little supply. So I'm not saying put your home on December 23rd, but get your home ready. Let's get it on second week in Jan, because there is no inventory. So if you want to capitalize on that, get your home ready. Okay.
And the flip side, your advice for buyers right now?
Oh, these poor buyers. Well, if you are locked into an interest rate that you want to buy by the end of January, be prepared that you have to do the numbers. So you may pay 20, 30 more thousand for the house than you want, but look at your interest rate hike and what that could cost you over the next 5 years. Yeah. Be prepared to write an offer the day that you see the property, and speak to your realtor about what they think it's going to take to get the property.
So when you're looking at the market going forward, obviously, things are looking good, right? The fundamentals are there. The economy in Alberta and Calgary is picking up. Are you looking at a very positive outlook as we head into 2022?
Mario, I am extremely bullish for 2022. I'm excited. I think the spring is going to be really strong. It's hard to say if it'll be as strong as last spring, but we're heading into 2022 with more strength in the market, less supply, more demand than we were last year this time. And so those indicators would tell me that we're going to have a very strong year. Even if we saw a rate increase, I don't think it's going to be catastrophic in any way. So I'm very excited. There's a lot going on in our city. We have tech, renewables, Amazon, Invest Alberta is doing a wonderful job at working on that. And I'm very bullish about 2022.
So when you look at, sorry about that, when you look at the market, when you mentioned the investments that were made, do you think that Calgary is becoming a really attractive place for people to come because of affordability? When you're looking at the benchmark price, right? What did I say? 461, right? peanuts really compared to Vancouver or Toronto, right? So that's got to attract people to this city, right? And it's got to attract businesses who are looking for people, right?
It is. And I mean, we are an unregulated province. So for investment in renewables, that is huge. And not many people, I don't think, know this, but the reason Amazon is coming here and it's going to be thousands of jobs is not because we have cheap office space. Are you ready for this? It's because we are not on a fault line.
Ah.
That's true. And so I think that we are a prairie province. We do have affordability if you compare us to our east and our west partners in this.
Yeah.
We are not on a fault line. We are an unregulated province for energy, and we're amazing people here. You know, so I think that there's a lot of really great things going on.
All right, super. Thanks, Tanya, for joining us again today.
Thanks, Mario.
All right, that was Tanya Eklund with the Tanya Eklund Group and a realtor with REMAX Real Estate Central in Calgary. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, and this has been Real Estate Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.